And there's Mom dancing away. I'm just over here getting stuff set up. Check, check, check. All right, that thing should be working. All right. Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing? Hi. So, welcome back. My name is Josh, also known as Cpgeek, and today we are going to be taking a look at rooting and installing, hopefully mainsail, on the new Creality K1 Max 3D printer that I just picked up about a week ago, and got delivered to me mid this week. So let's go ahead into that. Sorry, I was just looking at chat here. Looks like Mom has confirmed that she can in fact hear, although looks like I'm having some minor difficulties with a pop-up. 1 second. Oh, there we go. It just took a minute. There we go. So apparently Mom can hear me. All right, so we're gonna take a look at the printer itself. Let's take a look there. All right, so that's the inside of the printer, where we just printed a Voron calibration cube. Let's see if I can get another shot here. There we go, B plus A. Let's go to my actual work camera here. So there's the Creality K1 Max, and we'll go ahead and pop this open and take off our cube here. So not bad at all. Few little imperfections here and there that we can probably get rid of due to changing some slicing options, but not bad prints altogether. This was a very fast print, so I'm not surprised that things came out a little more wonky than usual, but no, overall, not too bad. Anyhow, so what we're up to today, let me go ahead and clear off my desktop real quick. Quit out of that. Get a fresh browser window open. This, I'll go ahead and give a disclaimer, is by no means a tutorial. So this is just a quick and dirty stream about my progress and getting this all up and running. I have seen a couple of videos of people making this work in the past, but the general idea is that Creality, in their wisdom, has given us a way to go ahead and root the printer. Basically, we get administrative access to the underlying operating system. And then from there, we can go ahead and install really whatever software that we want. In this particular instance, that's going to be the mainsail 3D printer system, just like I have on my Voron V2, to try to keep things consistent. All right, so now that I have a browser window here, let's go ahead and toss that up. So, Creality K1 Max root. All right, so let's go ahead and go to the GitHub page. This is the person who put this all together. I am not all that great at pronunciations. Gilaus, hard to pronounce. That's as best as I got. Best as I got. Bleh. Words are hard. Anyway, so the README installation helper script for Creality K1 series. This guide explains the whole process to root Creality K1 and K1 Max. Adds good stuffs to your printer. The advantage is to have full access to the firmware and configuration files in order to be able to make changes to them. If you don't know what you're doing, I don't recommend following this guide. Note, some of the firmwares were provided by Creality but have not been released publicly. I don't believe that that's true for where we are now. That's probably when that was first written. And I do mostly know what I'm doing, and I don't plan on changing anything that I don't explicitly know what I'm doing. All right. So let's go over to the wiki here. And we will go to installation, install rooted firmware. I believe that I have already done that. So I'm going to go ahead over to the printer itself and just get the information about where we're at. Right now it says that calibration cube took 34 minutes. I'll go ahead and clear that. We'll go to settings. And I'm just going to scroll down to version checking. It says 1.3.2.20. Which is the latest version that's mentioned in this guide, 1.3.2.20 right there. So that's awesome. And from here, I noticed in the settings here, I had to scroll by the root account information. I'm gonna go ahead and tap on that. It asks me, warning, root disclaimer and risk warning before rooting your device, please read the TOS. If you break it, it's on them kind of thing. Or on us kind of thing. I'm going to go ahead and click the I have read and understood the risks of root login because I own my equipment and can do that. In an absolute problematic scenario, I can always go ahead and install known good firmware on this just by inserting a flash drive with the current firmware. So we're not going to do anything that we can't undo per se. So I'm going to go ahead and click that OK button. And it gives us the root account information. The defaults are root and the password is Creality_2023. I will be definitely changing that as soon as I'm logged in. But I believe that enables the SSH access to this. Let's go back to our guide. Go ahead and zoom in on this a little more so y'all can follow along here. So we install rooted firmware. Installation, you need a USB drive formatted. Oh, that's for installing the firmware. We don't need to install a firmware because we are running the latest version. Yeah, root account information. This is just exactly what we just went through. So we can take a look at that. We get that warning there on the screen. And again, root and Creality_2023. You can now connect to SSH. Guide is available here. Okay, with the username and password. Root access must be re-enabled if you restore the printer to factory settings. That makes sense. Let's take a look at their guide here. They're using MOBA Xterm. I don't really want to use that. So I'm going to go ahead and use Putty instead. That's just what I'm familiar with. So I'm going to go ahead and load up Putty. It's just another terminal program that does SSH, and I'm going to connect to it. As far as getting the current IP address of the printer, I'm going to go ahead down to Creality Print, where I have already brought up the device view. And if you bring up the device view and then hit the details button, you'll get the web page from the printer that outlines all of its functions, and it'll actually give you the IP address, the current IP here. You can also get this off of the printer's menu, but for our purposes, it's 10.3.91.183. This is my internal IP address for the printer. I'm not sending any outside information to this. So I'm going to come over here to my Putty session. I'm going to type in 10.3.91.183, and we're port 22, which is SSH, and I'm just going to go ahead and click save so I don't have to continue entering that in anymore. But first, I'll go ahead and name it. So this is the Creality K1 Max. Save, and double clicking will go ahead and log us in. At first, it's saying, do we accept the host key? We'll go ahead and accept that. And we get a login as, I'm going to blow this up both for me and you because I can barely read that on this 4K display. So if I go to appearance and I go to fonts, I can click change. And just for our purposes here now today, I'm going to go ahead and really up the font to 20 point so we can all see what's going on in this session. And we're going to go ahead and log in as, just said it like 3 times. All right, so it's the root account and the password is all lowercase, Creality_2023. All right, so we are logged into the printer. And we're just running Linux here. So I wonder how many tools are installed. Top is here, for example. All right, so it looks like our CPU is quite busy at almost 13%, just running SSH and all of its normal background processes. Oh, okay, so it's MJPEG Streamer that's taking up most of that. MJPEG Streamer is the tool that takes the output from the webcam and compresses that so that we can see that as the webcam view, which is this down here. So that's what it's spending a lot of its time doing, and also driving the cam app itself. Yeah, that's pretty much it for now. We'll go ahead and exit that for now. So we have full root access. Looks like it's just running some flavor of Debian. Nope, no apt. So it's just plain old Linux. Okay, so from here, let's go ahead and go back to the wiki here. We've got our SSH connection. We go to installation of the helper script. Note, this procedure must be repeated if you restore the printer to default settings or if you update the firmware. Only use this script with firmware 132 and above. That's what we're running. So to install the helper script, enter the following command to install the script in the root folder. You can update the script directly on the script, but you need to update it manually. Enter this. Okay, that makes sense. And then enter this command in order to run the script. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. To break down the script, from what I understand, wget basically is a tool that grabs a file from the internet, a website, an HTTP server. So we're asking it to go ahead and get, without checking the SSL cert, because we don't need it. It's just going to go ahead and grab the script from the GitHub website. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to just copy that. I'll note that you should never just copy paste scripts blindly. You should always take a look and see what the command that you're entering into any terminal window does before you actually execute it. So copy that and paste it in here. And it just grabbed the installer.sh file here and saved it to the root folder. So we'll take a look to make sure that's there. We got installer.sh Nano isn't here. Let's go ahead and just more it, because I want to see what that script is doing. All right, so this is a big old script with a whole lot of things going on. Oh, it's got an entire user interface programmed into it. Okay, that's cool. Well, I have seen this work already, and I'm confident that it's clean and not going to install malware on our device here. So I'm going to go ahead and run it. All right, so here we have a nice user interface. So the installation helper for Creality K1 series, by this person whose name I'm just going to butcher over and over again, but I thank you very much for setting this up. I apologize for butchering your name if you ever see this. Let's see. I guess you just use these keys in order to do those things. So let's open the install menu. And we're just going to go through this one by one. Let's go ahead and get Moonraker and Nginx installed. So I'm going to press 1. Are you sure you want to install? Yes. And so Moonraker is the back-end Clipper administration framework that Mainsail uses in order to operate. It's used by both Mainsail, Fluid, a bunch of others, and it's fairly common. I'm using that in the V2 as the base install framework. So here we are installing. And it shows all of the package files unzipping here. So this is a full Python install. All right. So here we've got Moonraker and Nginx installed. Next we can either install Fluid or Mainsail, or both at the same time, I suppose. But I'm just going to install Mainsail because I don't need Fluid. They both do pretty much the same stuff in very similar ways. I'm not speaking ill of Fluid by any means, just I'm pretty familiar with Mainsail and can operate it fairly quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and install number 3, which is Mainsail. And we're going to go ahead and do that now. All right, so apparently Mainsail is installed. And under utilities here, we have something called Entware. I'm not personally familiar with that, so I'm going to go ahead and copy that and take a look and see what that is. Entware. Oh, it's a repository for embedded devices. I see. So this is a way to update the underlying operating system software. So we'll go back into the install menu because I accidentally exited out of that. So we'll go ahead and install Entware. Yep. Okay, so what this is doing is the printer that we have here, the K1 Max, uses a MIPS-based microprocessor on its logic board. It is running Linux, but it's not running ARM or x86 apparently. So we're just waiting for that to complete here. The software install. Doing its language things there. All right. And we'll go ahead and install the Clipper G-code shell command. Yep. And we'll go ahead and install the hostname service file. And that'll just allow us to modify the host name on there. All right, so improvements. Install CAMP, Clipper Adaptive Meshing and Purging. CAMP is super awesome. What this does is instead of leveling your bed at the 8 points that it normally does to level your entire bed via mesh bed leveling, CAMP will actually set it up so that it can recognize the exact print area that you're using on the bed. So if you're printing a smaller item or something, it will only mesh the area that's actually being printed on, which is super neat. It saves a bunch of time, and it also improves accuracy for smaller prints as well, because it'll print the same number of points just in a smaller area. So that's pretty awesome. So we're going to go ahead and install Camp. We're going to install the buzzer support files so that we can get the buzz here. And that should enable all the beeps and boops from the printer when bad things happen. Nozzle cleaning fan control files. I'm not familiar with that, but it's here, so it's part of the package. I'll go ahead and do that. All right, and as far as the camera, we'll go ahead and install the Moonraker time lapse. And the camera settings control files. I usually have to do those manually, but here it's just part of the package. It's pretty nice. Seems like a really streamlined way to do installation and configuration of a Clipper printer environment. Remote access and AI detection. So there's Octo everywhere. There's Mobile Raker Companion, and there's Obico. I don't use any of these. I'm actually going to stick with the AI detection that's part of the printer. Hopefully that still works. I don't think that it should be a problem, but we'll see what happens. I think that's everything here. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and exit. First, I'm going to note that the port that Manseal is operating on is 4409. So we can make a note of that. And we're going to go ahead and exit. From here, I'm actually going to reboot the printer just so that it can load up with all of these new files and whatnot. That'll take a minute. And we can try to access this website at 4409. So let's find what the IP address is. It's 183, so that's 10.391.183. And we are on 4409. And the printer is still booting. I see the Creality logo, so it's going to take a second. Oh, and it's connecting. Oh, Moonraker isn't quite online yet. It's still booting. I'm just waiting until the screen changes to its normal, fully booted situation here. I still see the Creality logo pulsing on the screen. All right, looks like the normal screen has returned. I don't see anything different. I'm just looking through the menus here to see if there's anything on the touchscreen that's different. There doesn't appear to be. So let's go back to the web browser, click the try again button, and hopefully get us a Clipper environment, or a Mainsail environment. All right, so this looks like the Mainsail that I know and love. In fact, if I pop open a new page, I go to v2.cpgeek.org, and I believe that my printer online downstairs is online. Yep, this is my V2, and you'll note that all of the settings and whatnot look pretty much identical. Zoom in on this just a bit, and here it shows the files that I had previously been printing. Everything seems to be working properly. I'm going to go ahead and just add my webcam here. So if I go to webcams, I'll add one. Target 30 FPS. Does that work? I don't see it. Oh, I know what's going on here. So, let's go ahead and grab the URL of the webcam itself. Copy. Paste. So this is the main instance. There we go. And it shows up. It looks like it's 15 frames a second, but that's fine. We'll update, and there's a webcam. Cool. So now that we have Clipper set up here, let's go ahead and proceed to doing the normal, Clipper things. First off, I want to go ahead and rerun the input shaper calibration. That's a good one to do. I believe that the default on the K1 Max is to only do input shaping on one axis, or it'll do them combined somehow. And that's not what I'm after. First off, let's go back to the installation helper script thing here. Let's see, installing helper scripts. We did all the things. Oh yeah, and Wire is a software repository for devices which use the Linux kernel. Okay, we've installed all the things. That's good. I'm just looking to see if there are any notes that we have to do anything when we install those things. Like, for example, add an include in the printer configuration. All right, so access to. All right, so it still uses the stock web interface, so we didn't change anything that the printer normally does, but we're able to use mainsail here, and all of that's working. So we're just keep going through here. Oh, it's OPKG. I see. So we'll go ahead and try an upgrade for OPKG. We'll reconnect here. Make sure that all those packages are in order. So root Creality 2023. All right. And actually, before we do that, let's change the password. Password, new password. A secure password. All right, password has been changed. And now OPKG update and OPKG upgrade. All right, nothing to upgrade. That's always good to see. We don't need to add SFTP for now. Update manager. Okay, so it's possible to update Clipper extensions using Moonraker. Yep. So it's asking us to add that line to enable Update Manager. All right, let's go ahead and set up Update Manager then. So if we go to Machine, go to, I believe it's Moonraker Config. Yeah, Moonraker Config. All right, and add these lines to enable Update Manager. I think that's what that is already. Update Manager, enable auto refresh true, refresh interval 24, enable system updates false. Okay, so that was entered already as part of the installer. I'm just checking through to make sure everything is exactly the way it should. be set up. If you use mainsail, enable these lines by removing. All right, update manager mainsail. Okay. So we're just removing these comments here. If you use camp, enable these lines by removing, okay. They really went all out. That is super cool. Oops. Okay. So those are all set. Oh, and for time lapse, doesn't say it, but it's here, and I know I installed it, so I'm going to do that as well. And I just want to make sure that that is correct. 4408. You know what? Let's just go there. Okay, I didn't think so. So what is that URL? 8080. 8080. That didn't seem to work either. 8080 webcam action snapshot. Oh, of course it wouldn't, because this is localhost. So we would have to go to the actual IP address, derp, which is 10.3.9.1.1.8.3. Okay, that's what that's supposed to be. So I will go ahead and paste that and replace this with localhost, which it will be to the printer, not to us. In fact, I'm going to do the same thing to the webcam configuration now that we're looking at that. Okay, so let's save and restart. All right. And now if we go back to the dashboard under the webcam configuration, I set that up incorrectly, sort of. So this is 10.3.9.1. Instead of doing that, I'm just going to put in localhost, just like so. And the reason I'm doing that is if the IP address changes, if I put this on different Wi-Fi, this will always work, versus if the IP address changes, it won't. So that should make that happen. Oh, it's displaying locally. No, I was wrong about that. Okay, so 10.3.9.1.1.8.3. So the web browser is directly opening this, which is why that isn't working. I wonder how I have that set up on my V2. Oh, I see. if it's on the same... Alright, I'm going to leave that for now, because that just kind of works. And as I said, I'm going to go after input shaper. Everything is up to date here. Good, good, good. What is that warning? Repo has untracked sources. Yep, that's fine. All right. Let's go back up to the tutorial first. Configure camera. See if I was just ahead of myself there. If not working, delete the existing camera and recreate it with these settings. Camera URL should be /webcam stream. I'm going to give that a shot. Just because that's what it says to do. Edit. So... /webcam ? Action stream. Oh. Okay, so it's actually having this put in the IP address like I did. That's actually pretty annoying. But okay, I don't plan on changing my IP address anytime soon. I'm on Ethernet right now on this printer. If I do switch to Wi-Fi, well, then I'll know that I'll have to do that later. That's a big red exclamation for anyone trying to follow along with my ramblings. Basically, you have to use the IP address of the printer here because we are on an auxiliary port. We're on 4409 instead of 80. Or 8080 instead of 80, I should say. And there's no way to define a non-IP specific host for this. I mean, I could set it up with an actual host name, which would work as well. But it depends on your network configuration, whether or not that will stick. All right, so for now, I'm just gonna leave that be and take the L. All right, use time lapse. We did the installation. We did the time lapse. Oh, we have to include the time-lapse config in our printer CFG. So we'll go to machine, we'll go to our printer configuration. Wait, there's no printer.cfg. Is it printer params? No. There we go. I wasn't seeing all the files that were in this directory. I had to go to files all. I was confused for a moment. All right, so we'll go open printer.cfg. And we'll see if it's already in here by going Control F and then searching for time lapse. And it's not, so we'll come down to the bottom here. Where's the top? There's usually a section for includes. Yeah, they put it at the top. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and include time-lapse config and save and restart, and that will give us the time-lapse software. You can now configure time-lapse settings in Mainsail. We can go to settings, time-lapse. So dashboard, settings, time-lapse. And that's enabled. Auto render is enabled. We'll select what camera should be used. Why isn't that pulling down? Okay, that was weird. Everything just went blinky for a minute. Hope I'm still here. Yep, I'm still here. Well, webcam is there. Let's rename it to camera, because it seems to want to be called camera. Webcams. Edit. Camera. Update. Time lapse. It does not want to. Well, I can mess around with time lapse at a later point. I'll pin that. I haven't used it before, so I don't know. As far as camp goes, and we've done that. We've done that. So Moonraker, we need to go to File Manager. Moonraker, File Manager. Enable Object Processing. We're going to do that. Save. And then click on Save and Restart. That's what I did. Open Printer CFG and include the camp settings. Will do. Okay, Printer CFG. We're going to go to our Include section, enable and include the camp settings. Save and restart. And then we're going to open the G-code macro and search the file for macro start print. Actually, more things that I want to do in there eventually too for tuning, but that's not going to be a right now thing. Oop. Not the printer CFG. The printer params. G-code macro. G-code macro.config. All right. Then we're going to go look for start print. And there's our start print. So we're going to replace CX print leveling calibration with this. Oh, there it is. Whoop. And of course I backed out of it accidentally. All right, so there's our start print. Oh. There we go. And all right, CX print leveling calibration. That's this. And we're going to comment that out and add this. And then under CX print draw one line, we're going to do that. So we'll comment that out. And we'll line these up. Note, in case you don't define acceleration values in your slicer, it's necessary to add this command under the line purge to load the default acceleration from the printer config file. I do define acceleration values in slicer. I'm going to skip this part, and if it becomes a problem, I'll add it later. Save and restart. Open Moonraker and enable this lines by removing. Oh, okay, update manager for camp K1. Yep, I did that already. Also make sure label object setting is as enabled in slicer. Others exclude objects in Orca Slicer. All right, so I'm going to pull open Orca Slicer. This is the last thing that I sliced, which is that Voron cube that I pulled off the printer at the beginning of the stream. I'm going to go into Others, and I'm going to make sure that exclude objects is on this. And now we should have adaptive meshing when starting the print. If you use Prusa Slicer, you'll need to add more macros into G-code. I don't use Prusa Slicer, so that shouldn't be an issue. I've pretty much moved to Orca Slicer. I started using it a couple of weeks ago, and it's really great. If I needed to backpedal to something that I know best, it would be Super Slicer. I'm not sure if these will qualify for Super Slicer folks. Oops, sorry, down here. Yeah, I'm not sure if these qualify for Super Slicer folks, but it is useful to know that that's there as well. All right, so that's camp. Use motherboard buzzer. All right, so we're going to go to G-code macro config and add the shell beep command here. G-code macro config. Just gonna go to the bottom of this to the user entered section and enter this new macro here. Does that line up? Yes. There we go. So that should be right. Test the buzzer. Make sure you hear the sound by running the beep macro. So I'm going to go ahead and try that. Dashboard. Beep. And it is, in fact, doing the beep. So that's a good sign. So we're doing the beep. All right, so I'll go ahead and enter that. I'll probably do that for the filament sensor. When it detects that amount of filament, I'll probably have it beep. That'll be a future Cpgeek problem. Camera settings control. All right, so I need to go into printer config and include camera settings. Save, restart. Keep trying to restart here. I think I might have gotten ahead of myself here. Yeah, I don't think we actually installed that part. So let's go ahead and do that now. So, oh. Or I just didn't wait long enough. That's fine too. I am going to confirm that we did install that though. Uh, 11. Okay, so that's all set. So it's probably just the camera settings macro. Yeah, and then there's a bunch of different macros for camera control. Let's take a quick look at that. Yep, those are all the camera control macros. So I'm going to go ahead and raise my bed up a little bit here. Let's just home all. And the reason I'm homing is just to get something in view, really. But also I want to make absolutely certain that this will home correctly after we've done our modifications. I do know that it hasn't heated up, which could be problematic. So it's homing cold now. But that's fine. Okay, so home's just fine. And now that we have something in view, the LED light is on. The picture is still quite dark. Let's try to lighten that up a little bit. I'm going to, let's see, autofocus, backlight compensation. Let's set that to 0. Or 1. Didn't do a damn thing. All right. M exposure auto is on 3. Let's try 2. Or 1. Okay. Roll that back to 3. Didn't seem to do much. Cam gain. If I set the gain to 5, what happens? All right, well, I'll have to play around with that later and see what I can do about improving the camera quality, but those controls are nice that they're there if I can get them working properly. Let's move on. Oh, you can also use a cam settings macro. That's neat. All right, so skip over time lapse for now. I'll mess with that later. We've already been over camp, motherboard buzzer, camera control, change host name. Okay, so the host name is now set with the MAC address. Oh, okay, that's what that does anyway. All right, whatever. That's fine. I can manually change up the host name later on if I want to. I could switch up the Wi-Fi location as well. I think that's pretty much all this is doing for now. But I'm pretty happy with that. I have mainsail, which is what I'm used to. I have a lot more control over the printer. I have full XYZ axis. Yeah, so I guess the next step would be to go ahead and do a calibrate on the... wow, brain. Not bed mesh, although camp is really neat. Input shaper. Wow. That's what I get for... oh, it's not even that late. Time for some Mountain Dew. Totally not sponsored, but you know, if anybody at Pepsi wants to throw me some coin for saying some good things, I'm happy. All right. So input shaper. I'm just going to pull up the Clipper manual for that. Clipper input shaper. Resonance compensation. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and disable pressure advance. Pull that off. Go side by side here. Oh, this is for the printed version of the test. accelerometer query. All right, so we get our values from the accelerometer. That's working properly. I'm going to lower Z just a little bit. I don't want any sort of interference. So where is... All right, so we got a little bit of room. X and Y are right about where I would expect them to be for about the middle of the bed. And we'll go ahead and test our resonances for X. And right now the printer head is whipping back and forth here at each one of these frequencies. And what it's doing is gathering data about what frequency or set of frequencies is resonant to the printer. And then you can basically tune the acceleration and deceleration so that it avoids those frequencies. And that will enable the printer to automatically compensate for many different artifacts, including ringing and different kind of skin artifacts and whatnot. So this just basically prints stuff a lot smoother, and it'll automatically find the appropriate values for this. So right now, I can hear the printer behind me at 72 hertz, 73 hertz, etc., etc. And it sounds like it might shake itself apart, but it's fine. It's designed for this. I know that you can't hear what's going on right now, but there's definitely a loud buzzing behind me. And this will just take a minute or two. All right, so looks like it had finished, and it should be analyzing those frequency sets right now, building a graph for them. Should give me an update in a couple of seconds here, what's going on. See if I can see a little bit more into what's going on here. Oop, that's not what I wanted. All right, so oh, wait for calculations. Here I'm just looking at the resource utilization on the printer with the top command. So it's telling me here that calc_PSD is taking up the most resources here at 42% of the CPU. Doing these calculations for the different frequencies there. This printer is a little bit on the slow side compared to something like a Raspberry Pi 4 or something along those lines, which is what I'm used to for my Voron. So this is a little bit on the slow side here. Resonance data written to that CSV file. Ooh, is it really not going to put it in the file? Well, we have the file anyway. So that's for X. Let's do the same thing for Y. And once again, it's giving it the means and shaking the heck out of my tool head at these frequencies that are listed on the screen here. And that buzzing sound returns. And again, while it's doing that, I'm just going to go ahead and see if they have anything about Input Shaper in this manual here. Oh, fix issue with Input Shaper. How about that? After finding Creality blocked the Input Shaper results on the EI Shaper via a macro in the latest firmwares. This therefore means that regardless of the measured resonances, the EI Shaper will always be selected. Moreover, the resonance of the X-axis are never measured. The resonance test is performed on the Y-axis, and the same result is also applied to the X-axis. When updating to a new printer version, the changes made to the G-code macro will be deleted. Only the settings in printer.cfg are kept. Oh. Okay. So I did this wrong. I went with test resonances instead of actually doing the calibration. Okay, that was my bad. So we want to shaper calibrate X and Y. That's why I didn't put it as part of the file. All right, so let's do this one more time. Now we're going to go ahead and shaper calibrate X. It'll perform that test one more time. Well, it'll go ahead and do its calculations, and then it'll perform the shaper calibrate X. So slow. Okay, so it's doing the calibration again. This time it'll actually write to the file. Writing to the file is important because that's where the actual calibration is saved. If you don't have it do the calculations and then save it to the file, it doesn't actually do anything to help us. It just does the test and then saves it nowhere, which is not cool. But that's been corrected, so we're doing X, we'll do Y in a minute, and get this up and running. At least I know that the accelerometer is working correctly, and the whole testing process and methodology works correctly. We just gotta do it again. And I'm going to go ahead and turn off the background music for just a couple of seconds so you guys can hear what I hear. And turn off my filters.
should be able to hear that buzzing noise in the background. I didn't realize that I was having microphone difficulties. Wish I'd known that on top of the stream, but it's all good. All right, turn my filters back on there. So yeah, the rising tone there. All right, so let's go through and do that one more time for the Y. Oh, waiting for calculations. And we'll go ahead and turn the music back on. What is with this R&B stuff? We should be listening to it's the club playlist for Deep House. This does not sound like Deep House to me. Let's shuffle this up a little bit. There we go. All right, so here it says that it recommends the Shaper EI with the frequency 39.6 hertz, which is what then got saved to the file. And it'll go ahead and save those calibrations when we go save config. But we're not going to save config just yet because we are starting the resonance test for the Y-axis. And once that's complete, we'll go ahead and save them both at the same time with the save config button. Almost done. All right, so it finished the test. Now we're just waiting for the calculations. As soon as it spits back what input shaper that it recommends, I'll go ahead and save those settings. And we should be good to go. That means that camp should be online. I'll go ahead and... oh, it's not part of the guide. I did want to go in and double the number of points for automatic bed leveling. Just something I always I prefer. We're currently at 8 points. I want to go to 16. All right, calculating the best shaper parameters. And there it is, 53.6 hertz. It's recommending the EI shaper, and it has saved that to the file. So save config command will update the printer config file with these parameters and restart. So let's save. And it restarts, and it does the thing, starts up. And there we go. So if I go into machine, we'll go ahead and open up the printer config. I believe that that parameter should be here. Now let's take a scrub through here and find where it does the bed leveling. Stepper X, stepper Y. Extruder. Filament switch. All right, so here's our PR touch. Ah, bed mesh. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. So 5.5, speed 150. So I'm gonna speed this up to 300. Should be just fine. Bed mesh, instead of going 5.5, I'm gonna go. You know what? If I go 10.10, that's 100. I don't want to go that far. You know what? 5.5. We'll go 8.8. Oh, doing this wrong. That's the position, the minimum position where it starts to do the mesh, and this is the maximum position. Probe count is currently 6.6, which I'm going to go 8.8. Okay, so save and restart. Bed mesh cannot exceed a probe count of 6 when using Lagrange. Do I want to use Lagrange? What am I doing on my V2? Find mesh. I'm doing 9.9 and using bicubic. I'm going to do that here. Find mesh. Pulp is 6.6. I'm going to put that back. Comment it out. That's not what I wanted. Probe count 9, 9. And go algorithm by cubic. Save. All right. Cool. So we're going to go ahead and heat this thing back up. Heater bed. Let's mesh at 60C. So we don't have to wait for that to heat up very much. We're also going to heat the extruder to 230, just so that the plastic on the nozzle is soft. Both bed and nozzle heat pretty quick on this machine. We're at 50 on the bed. We're coming up on 220 on the nozzle. All right, so we're up to 230 on the hot end, and we're just waiting for the heater bed, which is almost ready. 255. And 260. Pretty much, almost, not quite. So if I go over to the height map, this is the current detected setup of the bed. And we're going to go ahead and run a calibrate. We'll say that's default. The old one was 6x6. The new one should be 9x9. Oh, and it's telling me I need to home first, which is totally reasonable. So let's home all. All right. Go ahead and remove the material here. Oh, I meant 240. Or maybe it just automatically homes at 140. That's possible. All right, so we're coming back up to temperature. I'm going to go ahead back over to the height map, and we'll take a new mesh. So calibrate, default, calibrate. And we'll go ahead and take a 9x9 mesh here. So it starts in the front right corner where it is here. All right. And that'll go ahead and do 9x9 meshes. This does take quite a while, but it's worth it to have it, and it's not something that needs to be changed very often. I'm going to be doing camp anyway, so this is kind of like a belt and suspenders thing, but it's still good to have it on hand. And while this is going on, I'm going to go ahead and take a quick break. I'll let this go exactly as it is here, and y'all can follow along. But I will be back in just a couple of minutes.
Come on.
Hey, that's not right. What the heck happened here? Internal error on command bed mesh? You're not gonna let me do a 9.9, are you? Well, fine then. I guess I'll just go ahead and remove that. And that. Save and restart. So I returned the bed mesh calibrate section to its normal defaults. And I'm going to go ahead and run another one. And I'm actually going to go ahead and clean off the bed, I think. It left behind little bits of filament that are super annoying. Alright, so let's home. Yeah, it does automatically do Z leveling at 140. That's fine. Come on. Oh, and it'll automatically go back to the last temperature. That's cool. I'm just going to manually set it to 140 because it seems to like that. And then I will go ahead and raise Z by, I don't know, 25 or 50 so I can get in there, wipe off all that residual filament. Well, I'm sure it'll be fine when I print something on it. So let's go ahead and run a mesh. Default. Make sure that this works again. And once again, I'm going to go ahead and walk away while it does its bed mesh calibration. And hopefully, this will continue to work for us. So I'll be right back. All right, so it looks like that was successful this time. That's all good, all good. And all right, so let's go ahead and try this Voron Design Cube now that we have everything set here. Don't know if time lapse will work in this case, but I'm gonna go ahead and try it anyway. If it fails, well, then we'll know. Oh, before we do that, I'm gonna go ahead and save the config again. To go to height map here. Looks like I've got kind of a bowl, but it looks like my range is actually pretty decent. I'm at 0.3 mils on a 6x6 mesh. I don't know how that happened because my last mesh was, you know, quite a bit higher. It also does not start at 0, which not really liking that. I hate to waste folks' time, but I'm gonna do that again. So 140, 60, and that's fine. I'm gonna rehome home all XYZ, and then as soon as that happens, I'm gonna have it do another calibrate default. So theoretically, the point at which it does its zeroing, the actual leveling, should be part of the point of the bed mesh. I don't know why it wouldn't be. So we're just rolling another mesh here. I like that our difference was relatively small, but for whatever reason, it's higher than 0, which is super strange. I still haven't seen a point that's less than 0. Most of them are a good, you know, couple of microns above 0, which is still kind of strange. Yeah, we're getting to the end, and it seems to be pretty high. I don't understand why that would be I'm going to take a quick look at the machine settings. So printer, I'll go back to that mesh setting. I mean, the only thing that's still different is I sped it up. I'm going to set that back to 150, which is where it was stock. I don't think that should have anything to do with what we're experiencing, but save. Should almost be done with the level here. I mean, the only thing the speed should change is the speed at which it travels. All right, so we got our bed mesh, and again, it's wicked high. I don't get why that would be. Let's save and restart. Let's go ahead and level them all. There's Y, or X. There's Y. Now Z. That map's still the same. Yep. All right, so one more time. And Mom says you are also kind of strange. Thanks, Mom. All right, so if this is still really high after the fact, I'm just going to try a print and see what happens. Because at this point I don't know what to do other than manually adjusting Z, and that can get dangerous. And this machine is designed to be automatic, so I don't know what the deal is with that. And Mom says, where did you get that from, I wonder? Strangeness? Yeah. Partially you. Oh yeah, meanwhile, while this is going on, I'm going to take a quick look at the other site for this printer. This is the Creality firmware doing the same thing. Oh. And yeah, it shows exactly the same bed mesh. Makes sense. All right, coming up on the end here. Not all that much different, really. All right, let's try a cube. So at homes, it's going up to temperature. I wonder if it's going to do camp. Okay, so it's giving it a little nozzle clean. And the fan's just kicked up. Don't really need those fans. Coming down to 180. And we're heating to 105. 98, 99. Okay. Like it's homing a Z. Hmm. It looks like it's doing a mesh, but it's meshing the whole bed again. Oh, no, I'm wrong. It's doing camp. So it's probing the space that is going to be printed. Z-axis motor step loss was found. What the heck does that mean? I don't understand. It shouldn't be possible for the Z motor to lose steps. Not like that, anyway. Let's try it again. It was definitely trying to do camp, which is great. But it didn't like something. All right, we're heating to 240, 105. Is there anything I need to change in camp, in the slicer settings for camp? I don't think so. Ah, there it is. Lost the window for a second. Alright, so it's trying its camp mesh again. So we got this far last time. Alright, so now it's doing the camp mesh. Well, these values are certainly different. Well, the camp mesh completed. It's now heating up to its final temperature of 260 to print. Alright, camp purge starting. So it's doing a purge line. And now it's starting our cube. So far, so good. Let's go to the printer cam here directly. And Mom asks, the environment needs less plastic. How will this help our environment? So,
Many of the plastics that are used in 3D printing are derived from sources that are renewable, and some of it is even biodegradable. PLA, for example, is derived from corn. It's polylactic acid. It's actually a biopolymer. So that stuff is pretty decent in terms of overall use. It's not directly biodegradable, like you can't just bury it and it'll degrade. But there are recycling devices that basically, with the help of some specialized bacteria, break it down. It's not terrible for the environment. But also, this basically helps in not having to get mass-produced items, so you can do print-in-time stuff, so that you don't have to, run to a store anytime you need a thing. You can just print it on demand, so they don't need to make a million of a thing anymore. Or you can make customized things to fit the precise use that you have. So far, Cube's looking pretty decent. That first layer is looking pretty good. This ABS that I'm using here isn't necessarily all that great for the environment, but I'm using such good enough with that. There isn't a whole lot of ways to find that when it comes to most things about calibration objects are generally very little in terms of plastic. Didn't realize that I was again getting noise. Sorry about that. Testing this again. 1, 2, 3. Oh, wrong one. Testing. 1, 2, 3. All right. So it's just the fan noise that's coming through. Check 1, 2. Yeah, that's not too bad. Every so often I can hear the printer in my mic. No, I think the cable just got wiggled. I think I'm going to add another layer of filtration. Check 1, 2. That should be a little bit better. Check 1, 2. There we go. And while we're here looking at this, I'm going to try to mess with the camera settings. Okay, it does work a little bit.